coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
We've got it. This transmission is coming to you.
Waging war on corruption.
All right, you are go.
It's Alex Jones, coming to you live from the front lines of the InfoWar.
We are broadcasting worldwide. It is the 4th day of March, 2012. We're going to be here for the next 2 hours. And Dr. Jerome Corsi, who could only pop in with us for about 15 minutes Friday, will be joining us for a full hour via video Skype for Prisonplanet.tv viewers and better audio for radio listeners. And I'm going to cover the economy with Dr. Corsi. I'm going to cover the Iran situation. Of course, he was part of Sheriff Arpaio's big investigation confirming that the birth certificate is a forgery and a fraud. We're going to look at that and cover the waterfront with a very informed guest who has a lot of big inside connections and can tell us where the attack on Iran is going. And again, there's a lot of things Iran does that I don't like. There's a lot of things China does I don't like. It doesn't mean we're going to have war with them. You know, China has nuclear weapons. We're going to have a war with them. Iran is far away from getting a nuclear weapon. I don't want this war because the globalists are going to use it to take liberties at home. That doesn't mean that I want to live under the mullahs or something. It means that our country has been turned into an engine of empire. And the empire sells all these invasions and wars on spreading freedom. They're not spreading freedom. They've put actual al-Qaeda in command of Libya on record. That's not debated. That's NBC News, LA Times. They're using them to attack Syria to get rid of Assad, but something worse in. They're taking more rights under the Western-backed revolution in Egypt. And the program is wrecked these countries. And I want the Iranians to have good lives. I want Americans to have good lives. I want the Egyptians, the Russians, the Chinese, Mexicans, Brazilians, South Africans. I just want humanity to have a fair shake. And undoubtedly there have been corrupt, evil engines before, communism under the Soviets. But you go research, you find out the big mega banks, the people that created the Federal Reserve, the folks that control England, they openly funded the communists and then used that threat, that real threat, to take our liberties here and to have giant government contracts given to their defense and intelligence complex. And so they basically sell weapons and technology and systems of surveillance and media control to all sides. It's so elementary that a lot of people just can't understand it because it's in plain view. And it's that simple. Now, when I come back from break, I'm just going to mention the stacks of news here. They're all very important. And it also made big news a month ago when Dave Mustaine, out of context, was everybody said he endorsed Santorum. He did not endorse Santorum. It became a big national story. And when he pointed out that he did not endorse Rick Santorum, just that he doesn't like Romney, they didn't really cover that. Dave is here in town, played in Austin, and he's staying with me for a few days, him and his wonderful wife, Pam. And it probably won't be a live interview because I want to do it really good in studio tomorrow after the radio show for the nightly news in a few days, because I want to cut the music in and part of the concert and make it real good. But that's going to be a powerful interview we haven't shot yet. You know, we've done some in person before as well with Dave. Interesting story last night. If I have time today, I'll tell it just because it's interesting. I'm getting to where I don't even know what week it is anymore because there's so much happening. And Coast to Coast AM wanted me on last night. And so the concert ends at about 10:15, but he played like 5 extra songs and then was saying bye because it was the end of the tour to the rest of the band. So I'm speeding to get home to go on Coast to Coast AM with Dave Mustaine and his wife. And the cop pulls me over. And he probably, it was like a 50 mile an hour because he had construction, but he let me off, which was a nice officer. I could tell he was a listener. But More and more. I almost missed a Ron Paul interview a few months ago and got here the minute the show started with Ron Paul. I mean, I have just got to budget in more time. I'm doing too much. Big news coming up.
When you're out on the Alex Jones.
Well, we've got more off-the-chart, insane news and information for you today. That's why I'm the hardest-working man in talk radio. 6 days a week, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central, back here every Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. A lot of great affiliates out there picking up the Sunday show. XM is not yet picked up the Sunday show. They pick up the weekday show live. We're working on that. And I have got a lot to talk about today. We have Dr. Jerome Corsi joining us here on this March 4th, 2012 Sunday edition to talk about the economy, his inside sources on the upcoming Iran war. Can that be averted? Can that be stopped? He's the main guy helping do research with the forensic experts worldwide, with Dr. Jerome Corsi out there working with Sheriff Arpaio out in Phoenix. And, of course, coming out last week in the press conference last Thursday and saying it is a forgery, it is a fraud, there's probable cause to begin an investigation, because that fraud is being perpetrated against the people of Arizona and that county. You see, you can have the bottom attack the top. That's why we have the states, why we have the counties. The real authority is in the states. So that is coming up, and we'll be able to take your calls as well for Dr. Corsi. I'm not giving the number out yet. Now, here's the incredible news. Death toll from twisters rises to 37 in 4 states. A baby was taken 2 miles up and thrown into a field like something out of The Wizard of Oz, but the baby didn't get set softly down like Dorothy. No, more like the house got dropped on it, but it's in critical condition. And, you know, my point is, I had the guys pull the numbers up from the NOAA, and on average, there's more than 200 deaths from tornadoes every year. 200. This is 37 just in one day. Boom. They don't even tell you have storm shelters anymore. I mean, old-timers didn't need to be told to have a storm cellar. They didn't need to be told to store food. They didn't need to be told they need a shotgun in case a prowler comes around. They didn't need to be told to not walk in traffic or tie their shoelaces. I saw an article when I was out in Orlando, and I kept it, but I don't know where it is. It's on the cover of the paper about pedestrian accidents are way up. Well, yeah, people just walk right out in front of you. People on bikes get on highways now. Bicycles just get in front of you. You've seen the videos, people walking in malls, and they walk right into somebody or walk right into the fountain because they're on their smartphones. I mean, people are just in a trance. And I was looking at the statistics in the article. I mean, it's several hundred percentage point increase. That was giving nationwide statistics. We're talking about how bad Orlando was, because that's folks on vacation. They're really not paying attention. Just walking out in front of cars. Just, again, people are getting more and more unconscious. The language is becoming restricted. And you've got 2 different camps. You've got those that are awake, and that's a growing group. Then you've got the others that are kind of asleep, who are getting into a deeper trance. And I guess there's a third group. There's globalists that are awake but decide to use the fact that the general public is sleepwalking, literally. I mean, brainwaves have lowered the last 50 years since television became popularized. Video games lower brainwaves. Most people are in a near sleep-like state. You talk to them, their eyes are glazed over. They are literally in a mesmerized state. That's what television does to you if it's not interactive. Reading's the best. Listening is second best. Computers are not very good because the flicker rate and things, but at least you're interactive. That tends to keep you somewhat more conscious. Reading is the best. You've got to image it. So is radio. All the studies show that, because you're having to image in your mind, when I say Andrew Breitbart, that the synapses of your brain, of that electrochemical computer, goes out and pulls up an image of Andrew Breitbart. And the coroner is looking at murder. That's in the Los Angeles Times. Oh, I'm the evil conspiracy theorist. You'd be a fool with this guy bringing down Akron upwards of $8 billion a year to all these big city machines, these mafia types, and saying, I'm going to get you. I'm releasing footage March 1st of you at communist meetings, and he dies in the early morning hours of March 1st. While he's at a table at a bar drinking 2 glasses of wine with dozens of people talking to him and sitting around him. It's been reported by eyewitnesses. oh, he had a heart attack or had some heart problems. Maybe they poisoned him then. He's 43. The point is the timing of this, him saying, I'm going to bring you down, Obama. Oh, yeah, and jumping up and down at CPAC 3 weeks ago and telling people, March 1st, it's over for Obama and he dies March 1st. I mean, come on. Mama didn't raise a fool. Foul play, my gut tells me it's absolute foul play. And my gut, the more I listen to my gut, the better my life gets. I just can't believe how accurate it is, so I still just don't go off my gut. But it's got a perfect record. Perfect. Unless I'm tired or ate too big a meal, then my gut doesn't work because it's working on something else. But here it is. Andrew Breitbart, coroner, wants to cover all the bases and will be looking at all the causes, including foul play. That's Los Angeles Times. So there you go. I told you, the big telltale sign he was killed is that within less than 2 hours of him being killed, I went and looked at the timestamps on the articles, they were announcing that it was natural causes. Now, when that starts happening, you better look out. And then I said, if they don't release the footage he was going to release March 1st, look out. Now they're saying 2 weeks. So out of all these things going on in the world that are more important, this individually, though, signals if it was an assassination, and I hope it wasn't, and maybe it's not. It's scary because, it came out in the newspapers a few years ago that I'm on the White House enemies list, so is Andrew Breitbart, so is Matt Drudge. And now lawsuits have been filed, and they've gotten the documents that Drudge is spied on by Homeland Security. I mean, they track everything. And, of course, Liberty Guard, headed up by Bob Barr, has been suing. We got to get the former congressman back on. He said he'd come back on. He's now suing him, trying to get FOIA request for searches of Alex Jones, Infowars.com, DrudgeReport.com, and things like that, because their internal whistleblower told them that people that complain and stuff they're putting on list, and that they were basically surveilling and telling their employees that we're basically terrorists. And that was like 6 months ago. 8 months ago, Bob Barr was given that by sources, and he's been suing, asking for it. And well, first he did a FOIA, and they declared national security, so now he's suing. So all of this is going on. And Big Sis admits she reads our articles, and they're on Drudge and other sites, and does not like them. And yeah, I'm going up against these corrupt individuals in Homeland Security that have been caught shipping guns into Mexico to blame the Second Amendment. So there's the news on that front. Aaron Dykes has a big report out on it right now at Infowars.com. He's up here working on Sunday. The great Stalinist purge of media critics on Obama's reported enemies list. It's reported in 2009, Obama's enemies list, a roadmap for a great purging of critics in the lead up to 2012 elections. Well, if they'll ship guns into Mexico that have killed 2,000 people, in Mexico, hundreds here, including, 3 Border Patrol agents and 3 police officers. 100% killed, and it was 100% to blame the Second Amendment. Gee, if they'll fund al-Qaeda to attack Libya and take it over and purge tens of thousands of black people, that's on record now. We first told you with Tarpley and others who went there to witness it. And I had Tarpley on while bombs were going off, and the phone line would cut out. You hear, boom, and then, the phone line would cut out. And he said, yes, they're lining blacks up and shooting them. And then months later, all the news here is like, yeah, there's a big purge. I mean, what on earth is going on here? And now I'm unpatriotic because I don't support al-Qaeda. Well, look, if that's unpatriotic, then I'm sorry, I'm not patriotic. I mean, if it's patriotic to have the TSA federalizing everything, if it's patriotic to have wide open borders while you say give up our rights, my point about these horrible twisters is they don't tell people have storm cellars here in Austin where I live, and we're in Tornado Alley. I was looking it up. In Central Texas, in just the last 20 years, there's been over 300 deaths from tornadoes. I mean, how many did they kill in Gerald? It's a whole bunch just in one, in just a few minutes.